I want to thank the Congressional Black Caucus for hosting this event. I also want to thank the co-chairs of this year's conference, U.S. Representatives Karen Bass of California and William Lacey Clay of Missouri. Before I begin, I want to make one thing clear. Black lives matter. Racial crisis is flaring all around us, whether it's social media, shopping malls, or post-secondary schools. However, we will not back down in the face of injustice or ignorance. We demand freedom, justice, and equality in this country. And with that, I state black education matters. Now go hashtag that. The most important endeavor for any society is the education of its youth. The success and continuity of any society is predicated on the preparation of its future generations. Roughly 65% of all jobs on the market will require some education after high school by the year 2020, according to a study by Georgetown University. The black unemployment rate is twice that of our white counterparts, according to the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. Therefore, college education for our black students is paramount. That's why affirmative action is more important now than ever before. Affirmative action works. It states that with the competition of relatively equal candidates, the opportunity can be given to the historically underrepresented minority. This rule of law is important for many reasons. It directly counteracts years of state-sponsored racial discrimination, aids in the closing of the wealth gap, and promotes diversity, preparing students for an increasingly diverse workplace. Looking back, in 1961, President John F. Kennedy issued an executive order instructing federal contractors to take affirmative action to ensure that applicants are treated equally without regard to race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. And there it began. Federal recognition of the economic disparity between whites and minorities. In the following decade, other landmark laws were enacted, such as the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which outlawed discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. Affirmative action has been challenged in the courts on numerous occasions. In 1978, Alan Bake, a white applicant, was denied admission to the medical school at the University of California. This particular university used minority quotas to promote diversity. Their quota system held a certain amount of slots specifically for minority students. Bake sued the school, citing the Civil Rights Act, the Equal Protection Act, and the 14th Amendment. The case made it all the way to the Supreme Court, and the court found the quota system unconstitutional. While quotas are well intended to atone for past discrimination against minorities, the race of an applicant cannot be the preclusive reason for admission. The court also found that affirmative action is constitutional when race is considered a plus alongside many other factors. The Bake case set precedent for courts to follow regarding affirmative action and admissions program design. Other major cases have followed suit, such as Grutter versus Bollinger in 2003, Gratz versus Bollinger in 2003, and just 2 months ago, the Supreme Court upheld affirmative action once again in the Fisher versus University of Texas. The highest court in the land, time and time again, has recognized that universities have a compelling interest to attain diverse student bodies. Affirmative action works, yet it is under constant attack. Meritocracy is the belief that success is based on ability rather than privilege. A great deal of Republican politicians and Supreme Court justices believe we live in that society. Well, it just ain't true. Justice John Roberts, an opponent of affirmative action, once said the way to stop discrimination on the basis of race is to stop discriminating on the basis of race. Justice Roberts is offering the ostrich approach. It is a popular belief that ostriches dig their heads into the sand when they're threatened. That's actually not true. When threatened, ostriches run fast. Little fun fact, they're clocked as the fastest animals on Earth on two legs at 45 miles an hour. I think this fits even better because Justice Roberts' idea to ignore what is clearly in front of us and run in the opposite direction, fast, hoping that it disappears. The answer is to face our problems head on, with our eyes open, and apply the rule of law accordingly. Opponents of affirmative action believe that the economic dilemma Black Americans face today is their own fault. This misled mindset ignores decades of a vicious systemic denial of opportunity. To accurately assess the present, we must understand the past. For example, in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, there's a place called Levittown. Federal agencies guaranteed loans to Levitts and Sons in 1952 to build homes in this community. The homes built in this community were affordable to both black and white families. However, federal housing and veteran administration policies required Levitt and Sons to deny black Americans access to these homes. White folks purchased these affordable homes and accumulated equity, which helped them pay for their children's education. These homes were then passed down through the generations. Black families were legally denied the opportunity to build generational wealth. Labor reform was another government policy that inhibited the wealth of black Americans. Minimum wage, Social Security, and collective bargaining reforms put forth by the New Deal excluded agriculture and domestic services, jobs that a lot of black Americans had at the time. These types of policies have led to the economic disparity we see today. White net worth is 10 times greater than black net worth, according to Pew Research Center. Discrimination based on race isn't simply a relic of the past. This discrimination is alive and well today. Racial bias exists towards women, minorities, and U.S. non-born employees when it comes to promotions and wage increases, according to an article by Marianne Cooper. Resumes of applicants with white-sounding names receive 50% more callbacks than ones with black-sounding names. With identical resumes, Tom gets a call back, and Tyrone's resume gets tossed in the wastebasket. Acknowledging past historical systemic discrimination is not enough. The disparities between black and white wealth are in part due to constitutional violations. Ergo, the rule of law should play a major role in remedying some of these issues. Affirmative action is the answer because it works. It also ensures that qualified minorities gain equal access to institutions of higher learning. College enrollment for black students has increased by 57% since 1980, according to civilrights.org. The Supreme Court has consistently ruled in favor of affirmative action as recent as 2 months ago. Affirmative action is a race conscious policy that opens doors that were previously slammed shut to Black Americans for many years. A diverse student body helps our future leaders prepare for a growing global marketplace. Affirmative action is legal, it's just, and it works. Thank you.